Nurture and support begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the latest episode of Nurture and Support. I'm Kelly Toole at KELLYTHUL on Twitter. And with me, as always, is Mel.
Hey, everybody, it's Mel at Karmic9 on Twitter, and we have a guest.
Yay, less work for us again.
We love guests.
Absolutely. We have Matt Shivers joining us today, and you will notice as we begin, and Matt will give you a little bit of background, and as you hear the background of Matt, you will know why his sound is so much better than Mel and mine on the podcast. So, Matt, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the group. If you want to let them know your Twitter handle, do, and tell us a little about yourself.
Sure thing. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on the program. I've been looking forward to this since we started talking about it, Kelly. My name is Matt Shivers at MattShiversVO on Twitter. That's MattShiversVO. And yeah, I am freelance voiceover artist, voice actor, narration, all kinds of stuff. I've done some animation, freelance animation, voiceover work, and I've done everything from the little mom and pop interactive voice systems to major nationwide internal corporate videos and everything in between. I'm also part of the Champaign Movie Makers out of Champaign, Urbana, Illinois. I wouldn't have known it before I joined, but Champaign, Urbana is a huge hotbed for indie film production. A lot of talented people over there, so I'm very lucky to be part of that group. And that's just a little bit about me. Happy to be here. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah.
So that's why he sounds way better than us. He's a professional.
That's right. That was a good idea, wasn't it? Bring a professional on.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly.
Back.
Thanks,
right.
Kelly. Yeah, you're bringing in people that make us look bad.
Thinking things through, as always.
So what's your website? Do you have a website people can go to check out more of your work?
I do, shiversmedia.com. And I also have a separate Twitter handle, Shivers Media, on Twitter, at Shivers Media.
And we will have links to that on the blog post for this episode, everyone. So go check out Matt's work, because as you can hear, he sounds way better than we do.
Well, we don't need to dwell on that, you know.
No.
Well, we're going to dwell on it just a little while
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Matt sounds so good, in fact, that we badgered him until he agreed to give us a little free voiceover work. So he's given us a few titles for sections of the podcast, and you will hear them starting in this episode. So let us know what you think.
And so let's go ahead and get into recommendations, and I'll go ahead and start. I am going to recommend an app today. It is available on both the major and minor platforms, so that is Android and iOS in order.
So which one's major?
Mel. Mel.
Okay.
From
We're not
my
going to
point,
pick favorites.
it's available on all platforms, no judgment applied, except maybe Windows Phone, and I feel perfectly fine with judging that. So
I judge them as well.
So,
Wow.
whatever on that.
Harsh.
Yeah, facts are facts, man.
Blame it on Under the Dome. If I'd ever wanted a Windows Phone, Under the Dome cured me of that.
All right.
Very cool. So this app is called TripIt, TripIt, which I didn't have Matt read, which I could have done. That'd have been nice too. But so it's a travel app, and it is. I'm not like a crazy frequent traveler, but I'll get, over a course of a year, there'll be 3 or 4 trips either for the family or work that I will take. And this has ended up being a really nice addition to my phone and my tablet as well. With the TripIt is basically an organizer, and Mel will be able to include, I think, in the blog post a nice little advertorial video that kind of explains what it does, so folks can get probably a better idea than as I describe it. But you're stuck with me for this podcast.
And we love you.
Yeah. Aw. The cool thing about the app is you can you book some flights. So I'm going to go up to C2E2, and so I booked a train. I booked a hotel, and I've got the time for the con all set up. Any response I get back from those different booking entities, the response back from the train place, if I was taking a flight, the airline, etc., I just take those confirmation emails and mail it to plans@tripit.com. And what it automatically does is it takes the information from a wide variety of reservation responses and populates an itinerary for you. So you send it 3 emails, and then you go back into TripIt, and it has organized everything. It says, here's when you take off and land, and here's your hotel, and here's driving directions from the airport to the hotel, and how long it should take. Here's what you could expect for average cab fare. If you have a venue, it'll cover those things. You can add in reservations. One of the last times the family and I went down to Disney, I loaded it up pretty good. So every one of our reservations at a restaurant at Disney where we got a confirmation from Disney in advance, those are all in there in terms of the time, the reservation number, website, a contact number. You can bring up a map instantly. And so it pulls it all together, and you don't have to do anything to organize it beyond mailing those responses in there.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and it's for the low price of free, which is my favorite price for an app. You can, I'm not sure what the amount is because I'm kind of cheap and don't tend to buy apps, but you can get TripIt Pro, where in TripIt Pro what they really do is they amp up some of the notification stuff so that if your flight is delayed, that it does some immediate notification of you. I've tended for those types of things to leverage the airline's notifications, but you can go ahead and get those additional notifications with the Pro version. It also looks like it does some pretty smart stuff to say, oh, if your flight got canceled or it's getting delayed by a certain number of hours, I'm going to start floating alternatives in front of you to say, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So the Pro one, depending on if you're a real heavy-duty traveler, might be worth the investment to pay for it. But the free version takes all the work off of you. You just have to remember the email address to send it to. And then, to me, probably my favorite part is when I bring up the flight information, where it starts off initially is it shows you a map of the United States with your departure city and your arrival city, and it has 2 little airplanes that fly on a path, and they cross each other on the map in an animated fashion, so you can see how long it would take for each flight to go through. And I watched that for a while because it's kind of relaxing and all that. So
Does it look like the Indiana Jones graphic when he's going from country to country?
Yes. It needs to.
Yeah, that actually would be great to have that music kind of playing in the background. So it's not the red line dots. It's actually a little, but it's esque. Yeah, it's indie-esque, but not quite. But it's the same idea.
They need to do an upgrade and add the red line, I think.
That would be sweet. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. That'd be great.
You need to suggest that to them.
So it's a cool app. It's free. You can put it on your tab. For a lot of the times, the tablet side of it, and there's an iPad-specific version of this app that fully leverages the iPad real estate. But it's a great way for that, and it keeps all of your past trips. So as I was because I actually did a little bit of show prep today, as I brought the app up and was kind of poking through all of it to make sure I mentioned all the key features. Everything that I've entered back to 2010, all those trips are there, so I can do some cumulative travel if I wanted to on that. I can go back and look at those different trips if there was something I wanted to check on. You can also take any of these itineraries and share them via email, or you can create just a social media connect and also send it to people. But the email thing will just basically summarize out again, here's the hotel and the contact information, when the flight's going to arrive and all that. So if there's somebody else you need to share your itinerary with, it's a nice, quick, easy way to do that as well.
If I ever leave Texas, I will use that. Of course, it sounds to me like the hardest thing is that actually I would have to remember to actually book a reservation to send it to TripIt so it could remind me of it when I inevitably forget.
Yeah, that would be key.
I need to just be able to tell it, I'm going to go here on this day, and it needs to handle everything. They need to do an app that just, handles all of that and then just tells me where I need to be. I'm a terrible traveler.
So there's two major enhancements to TripIt that we've identified. So we'll have to send that on their way. I do like the voice idea of just here and there, make it work. Get back to me.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'll have to remember that.
The opinions just expressed are Kelly's and do not necessarily reflect the positions of Mel or the Nurture and Support podcast.
So with that, we're going to turn it over to Matt and let him give his recommendation, and Mel will close us off. So Matt, you're on.
Oh, all right, fantastic. My recommendation is on Monday, I saw Captain America, The Winter Soldier. So I'm recommending a movie. I'm actually going to be recommending a movie/TV show because there are sort of a lot of inroads in the Marvel Universe from Cap to S.H.I.E.L.D. They did a bit of a crossover with the Thor portion of the Marvel Universe too. So Captain America was great. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one, I think, it actually feels more like a mini Avengers because Black Widow gets some good screen time. Falcon gets some good screen time. There are a lot of sort of nods to other portions of the Marvel Universe they either have already explored or haven't explored yet. The narrative is really great. I mean, it's not just a comic book movie. It's really an interesting commentary on the post 9/11 world that we live in, big data, the dangers of who has access to big data, sort of indirectly, directly takes on some thoughts about drone strikes and sort of attacking from a distance, and what are we willing to give up for safety, or are we willing to sort of sacrifice any of our freedom to be safe? So not just a comic book movie, has some really, really cool undertones and a really, really awesome narrative in there. And then there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a show that I've enjoyed from the beginning. It's gotten mixed reviews, but it is getting better and better and better. The most recent episode was on last Tuesday, and if you're listening to this, that would be the 8th of April. And that was really, really good. It was season finale caliber, and there are 6 episodes left. So there was some game-changing stuff that happened, and I can't wait to see what they do with it next. It's very interesting, the whole TV to movie to TV. Marvel has their stuff together, and I read a story the other day. Marvel has their timeline planned out to like 2028, which is a ridiculous amount of time to be planning these things out, but they're doing it, and they have their narrative structure that I'm sure they have plot points where they want to explore down. So up next, we're looking at
Mel and I have nurture and support plotted out till, well, what time is it?
Yeah, it's about 9:02 p.m. and
yeah.
we stopped planning at about 8. So we're just winging it now, folks.
So it's a parallel.
It's handy that we're all in the same time zone, so that makes it good. That makes it much easier to do the math. But next, we're looking at Avengers, the full-on Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, and it's just the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be, as long as it's on the air, and I hope it gets picked up for another season, sort of interwoven between whatever theatrical narratives that Marvel's putting out. So they really have their stuff together. I'm very pleased and very impressed with what they've done and what they're going to do.
So I started out strong on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was in there and enjoying it, and then I tapered off for a little bit. But it sounds to me like I might want to kind of get back on the wagon here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will say this: if you haven't seen Captain America: The Winter Soldier yet, don't watch the latest Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because there are some fairly major spoilers in the episode that deal with the movie. So, and then there's some debate about major spoilers there, which I obviously don't want to get into right now.
Right.
But really, get out there and see Cap 2, and then get caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's really good.
Well, I have to say that you make Captain America sound interesting. I have to say that he's not my favorite Marvel character. I'm not into a lot of the comics. I loved Avengers, of course, and I've loved all the Iron Man movies, but I haven't seen the first Captain America. But you've made the second movie sound interesting enough to make me want to watch it.
You should see the first one.
That's quite a feat.
All right. Well, I'm glad to do that. You should see the first one. I really enjoyed the first one. It sets up at least Cap's backstory. It's his origin story.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't necessarily need to have seen it to enjoy Winter Soldier. There is a fairly major plot point, though, that the movie will spoon feed you. But I think it's a little more special if you've seen the first movie and then see Cap 2.
Okay. Well, before this, I would have steadfastly refused to go see that movie when someone pressured me to go see it this weekend. But I might actually go. Okay, Matt says it's good. I'll go watch it.
All right, Marvel, where's my commission on that one ticket?
Yes. Well,
If-
I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay for it.
That's a whole other thing.
Wait, so
I'm not going to
so
pay.
you're a movie theater ninja? What are you sneaking into these?
No, someone
Speaking of
else
these
is going to
movies?
have to pay. If that's
Oh,
their
that's
movie,
fine.
then they're going to have to pay for that. I'm not going to pay for it.
I don't care who pays for it, as long as someone's
Yeah.
paying for the ticket and I get my cut.
Yeah. And I have to say, like Kelly, I started out really excited for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but
Mhm.
it lost me somewhere around 3 episodes in, and I think I tend to get judgy. I didn't like that guy. I can't even remember his name.
Ward.
The guy and the hacker girl, they irritated me. I liked the 2 little scientist people, the 2 little geeks. I liked them.
Well, I'll tell you without giving anything away. Seriously, watch that episode at least.
Okay.
I think you'll dig it. But
I've
see
heard
Cap
from a
2
number
first.
of people that it has vastly improved from about the point where I dropped off watching it. So I just haven't gotten back into it because I'm a completist. It's hard for me to go in and just start up again. I have to go back and watch all the old ones, and so
I
that's
understand that.
time consuming. So
Very good. So Matt, we had a chance to visit a little bit today before you joined us, and did you want to kind of throw? This is a quasi sort of bonus recommendation. Did you want to? Now that I brought it up, I guess did you? It's your call. If not, it'll just be a mystery to everyone from here on out. But if you'd like to kind of throw that in, you're welcome to as well.
Okay. Did we talk about what I might be talking about?
Yeah, it's season 3.
Oh, right. Okay, so Mel, I understand you've already recommended a certain app called Zombies Run,
yes,
and I love that app. I seriously love that app. Actually, I would love to be a voice on that app in any capacity. That's sort of a goal that I'm going to be working towards. But season 3 is coming out this month. I don't know if they've just released it or releasing it soon, but in April, season 3 of Zombies Run is coming out. And I feel bad because I'm at the tail end of season 1 right now. I did not get out and run as much as I should have last year. I didn't do anything over the winter. So my first road run last week, I was just dying after that little 2-mile run. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about getting into season 2 and season 3. I'm sure is going to be great. I love what Six to Start has done. I love what they're continuing to do. I was not really a runner before finding this app. This app really got me out there. I mean, I did some things here and there. I've done a couple of obstacle 5Ks, which have been really fun, but I didn't really enjoy getting out there just running. And with that story element, with that game element, it's a really great story. They've crafted a really neat world. I'm just eager to lace up and get out there and see what else they have in store for me. So I'm really excited about that.
you'll really like the way season 1 ends. I'm in the middle of season 2 because I haven't been running very much. But yeah, you'll really like the way season 1 ends. I love that story. It's a great story. I can't recommend that app enough. Even if I've told people, even if you're just gonna go walk and listen to the story, I love the story. It's great. They could put that story out in a book, but yeah, I love it so much.
I agree.
Do you do the zombie runs?
I did last year. I did. I have not turned zombie runs on yet because like I said, my first road run of the season was just last week, and I didn't, like an idiot, I didn't run even on a treadmill over the winter at all.
Yeah.
It was nothing but holiday food and just like slothness. But I'm gonna turn it back on probably in the next couple of runs, and I know I look like an idiot running around my town away from imaginary zombies, but I mean, it's means to an end, right? It's getting me to run faster. They're clearly successful, and I'm using the whole GPS to track how fast I'm going, where I am, and after, I don't know, what is it, 30 seconds of gut wrenching running away from imaginary Walking Dead, then you're good to go. But no, I will turn that back on soon. I just did not want to die in the streets of my town last week.
Yeah. See, I mainly do treadmill, so I can't do zombie runs on the treadmill, and I'm like, it's probably for the best. I would fall and hurt myself. But
Right.
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was unaware that season 3 was coming out soon. I was just thinking the other day that it was probably getting close to doing a season 3, so that's good to know.
Awesome.
Because it's best if you go in and you buy the season pass, people.
Yes.
Then I know it seems like it's expensive, but you will really enjoy this story if you like zombies and you're not dead set against walking or jogging or running. You will love this app. It's one of my favorite things I ever found. Probably one of my most used apps on my phone. I just love it. And even the radio mode is fun. So the little quirkiness that the little radio DJs bring on. So it's a really great app. I love it so much.
So if I attached my phone to my cat and put on a Bluetooth headset and just menaced it on occasion when there needed to be motion, would I be able to listen to this in a more leisurely fashion, do you think? Or not? Or am I going to actually have to run?
Yeah.
I think you have to be moving.
Can I hang it off my treadmill? Can I just...
Well, actually,
maybe swing it back and forth.
Yeah.
Put your phone on a bungee cord and just swing it back and forth.
Throw it
That
across
might
the
work.
room, pull it back.
Yeah, that might work.
all you need to do is get a Velcro strip and just like put a Velcro, the opposing strip, down like the middle of the treadmill, so the thing actually just sort of
Runs through.
rotates around, and it's really kind of running at your pace if that's how you have the.
I can speed it up if I needed to run. That's not too hard to press the button.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I could do that.
I think you've got something.
Something could go wrong there. It sounds like there might be one or two pieces of equipment. Either the phone or the treadmill is going to have an issue, or both. And then I'm going to have some explaining to do, and I'm probably not up to that. So
that's not going to be an awkward conversation at all.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
But it's not what Matt said.
Right. Hey, don't bring me into this, pal.
Zombies Run.
So I will offer my suggestion for an enhancement to Zombies Run, which is zombies. I need to get another cup of coffee, which would be an app that I can wear at my desk, and then when I need to go get my next cup of coffee, I can experience the story. So
that should just be something that's an add-on that like goes through your Fitbit, and it just kind of knows. Maybe you can attach like a sensor to the Fitbit and a sensor to the coffee maker, and it knows through geolocation or near-field communication that, well, Kelly's getting close to the coffee maker. We need to fire up this app and tell him a story while he's on his way to the coffee maker. These are all good ideas.
Yes, these are all, and they're all free.
Right.
Worth every penny.
And I will say this. I did update Zombies Run recently. I think they had a recent large update, or I was putting off updating, and I just got this like 750 megabyte cumulative update. They changed the synthetic voice as you're running, and I kind of miss the old voice. They changed it up a little bit. It's fine, but I kind of miss that old, like, super computerized version of it. But
yeah, it's not as loud as it was, which is better. It was sometimes jarring.
It scared the crap out of you out there.
Yeah, when you're in the zone, and then all of a sudden it has to tell you picked up some underwear.
Picked up a sports bra.
that app just loves sports bras. I
Yeah.
tell you, it's just great with sports bras.
It's trying to tell me something. Stay out there running. And so you don't need one anymore.
Yeah, they really like sports bras in there, so that's a good thing, though. Runner 5 needs sports bras, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy that. I'm glad to see someone else that likes that app. We have a listener who really likes that app, too. Teresa really likes that app, so it's popular. I'm glad to see more people listening to it because it's really great, and I think it has a great story. So,
well, I hope
Yay!
it gets more geeks up off the couch. And not to generalize, but my brethren mostly aren't known for being the healthiest of folk. I am noticing a trend that we are getting fitter, which is awesome. So it's great that even if you're using the walk, or they've got a 5K program now, I think, within the app. Just getting up off the couch, moving around, getting a little exercise. prolonging our lives is always a good thing. It's always a positive thing to stand behind. So I know it's helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm a super fan. I'm with you. I'm with Teresa. Huge fan. Zombies Run is awesome.
Yeah. Most of us spend way too much time sitting at a desk in front of a computer. I know
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
So my recommendation, spends a lot of time behind a desk staring at a computer.
Awesome.
And it involves no exercise. Maybe we need to talk to Blizzard about integrating some form of exercise into playing Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls.
Ooh.
That came out recently. The Reaper of Souls is the add-on to Diablo 3, which came out a couple of years ago. And if any of you out there played Diablo 3 and it didn't meet your expectations and you stopped playing, let me tell you that Reaper of Souls is basically a completely another game. They have revamped the whole thing. They've revamped the entire loot system, so you're getting a lot more of the cool loot, the magic items, and the rare loot, which of course we've talked about on this podcast before, the gamification of everything and how we want more stuff and we want achievements and everything. And so Loot 2.0, as they call it, has met all of our expectations, and I get more rare items dropped than I get just plain old regular magical items anymore. But Reaper of Souls extends Diablo 3 to Act 5, where one of the angels has gone bad, and he has now turned himself into the Angel of Death, and he has decided that he must kill all of the humans in Sanctuary. All of the humans must die. So you play as the hero who has to stop this. And have either of you played Diablo 3? Matt, are you a gamer?
I have not.
I am a gamer. I have not played Diablo 3. In college, I minored in Diablo 2.
Yes.
So I have familiarity with the game and the style. Okay. But I think somewhere along the line, I sort of dropped off of that style of game and focused mainly on first-person shooters and puzzle games. And lately, there's been a renaissance with a group that I game with, known as we call ourselves the Old Farts. And I'm sort of 10 years younger than all of them, so I'm sort of adopted into this group. There's been a renaissance of driving games. So there's some Need for Speed and Burnout Paradise. We play that occasionally. We've got a Thursday night gaming night, so it sort of rotates. But cool. No, I mean, I've seen some Diablo 3 stuff, and it looks really awesome. And I did see a few stories about Reaper of Souls sort of turning the tide on gamer expectations of the game. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
Go ahead, Mel.
I wasn't hugely disappointed with Diablo 3, but I am not. I guess I can't classify myself as hardcore anymore. I don't. I basically play the solo campaign. I don't do the multiplayer in Diablo. So once I beat the end boss, once I got through Act 4, I kind of stopped playing. I didn't go through and make a new character with all of the different character types. I meant to. I just got sidetracked because I always have more games to play, like I have more books to read. So I'm sorry, but I interrupted you, Kelly. What were you trying to say?
Well, so I'm in a very it's an unjust world, and so my home has been, gutted of the higher end gaming systems due to this pesky technicality that the offspring bring up the fact that they're actually their systems and not my system, and so as they go to college and other places, they take their game systems with them. So I'm left with PS2 and Wii, in terms of my gaming platform. So
how dare they, Kelly?
What's that?
How dare they?
I know, it's quite not supportive of their parents. I have dim hopes for my later years that they're going to take the game system away from me now. What are they going to do 2 years from now when I'm old and have to retire? But so what platforms is Diablo 3 available on?
Okay. Well, this is where it gets a little crappy. Diablo 3 is available on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. Reaper of Souls, however, is only available on PC right now. And from what they've said, they only plan to send it to PS4 and Xbox One. They will come out with a combo that will be Diablo 3 and Reaper of Souls. think they're calling it the Ultimate Evil Edition. And they haven't said anything about making it compatible with Xbox 360 and PS3, which I think is totally crappy. But this is another one of my issues of why I say you should play on the PC. Stop playing console games. Bad console games. See?
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that, Mel. I'm a PC gamer. If I'm asked, I don't have a new system. I'm with Kelly. I mean, my most recent console is the Wii, the first Wii. Right?
Well, I have a Wii game recommendation to roll out one of these days.
I will be
Especially
on
since
that.
it's been
I will be on that
discontinued.
Reaper Souls.
Yeah. One of the big problems with Diablo 3 and Reaper of Souls is the price tag. It is a big game and it's expensive. If you already have Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls is going to run you $39.99. If you don't, and you're a PC gamer and you want to get into this, it's going to cost you about $39.99 just to get Diablo 3, and then another $39.99 to get Reaper of Souls. It's totally worth it to me. I love Reaper of Souls. I will have a hard time choosing which of my screenshots to put up with this blog post because my current armor on my little chick wizard, she's looking like she ought to be in a Hellraiser movie. She's looking pretty good. So I'm really happy with her armor set, and I am afraid when I level soon, it's not going to look nearly as cool, and that's disappointing to me. But one of the cool things is that you can do transmogs. You can change your legendary or rare armor and make it look like a cooler set of armor. So you get to keep the specs and make it look different, like some other barbed, awesome, pointy armor that everybody wants to have. Of course, it costs you. But anyway, Reaper of Souls, if you're familiar with Diablo, it's a dungeon crawler, big spell effects, pretty colors, lots of explosions, lots of screaming, and expect to die a little bit. Though I do have to say, with a lot of the changes that they made with Reaper of Souls, they've changed the levels that you play at. Now they have it at normal, hard, or they have normal, expert, master, and then you get into the torment levels. If you are an experienced gamer and you've played these kind of dungeon crawlers before, you might as well skip over normal and jump up to the hard level. I'm playing at master right now, and I'm doing pretty good. I only die when I really get trapped in a corner. So I'm contemplating moving up to torment because the higher level you play at, the more XP that you get, the more loot that you get, and all of this helps you get cool armor because we all want to look cool while we're trying to kill the Angel of Death. So there you go. I highly recommend Reaper of Souls if you like games and you have the money to blow, but the best thing is to get someone else to buy it for you.
That's good advice.
Which seems to be your thing right now.
Right. I'm seeing a
Absolutely.
pattern here.
I am all about trying to get somebody else to buy me something because I'm usually the one that has to buy everything else. So.
Now, let me see if I can remember my Diablo lexicon. You said transmog. That's short for transmogrification, correct?
Yes, it is.
Nailed
yes.
it. Nailed it.
And
All right.
This is something that you can't do until Reaper of Souls. So if you don't get Reaper of Souls, you can't do this because the mystic that does these things for you, you get her in one of the quests in Act 5 of Reaper of Souls. I usually, all of the standard character classes apply here. You've got your wizard, you've got your barbarian. The new character that they added in Reaper of Souls is a crusader, so it's another melee character. And one of the cool things, though, is, and this was in the first in Diablo 3, they have a witch doctor. I don't know, did you ever play as the necromancer in Diablo 2?
No, I was all about hack and slash. It was always very much warrior driven for me.
Yeah, I tend to play a ranged character.
For anything.
Hey,
sorry. That was an outside voice, wasn't it?
The adults are having a conversation here. Enjoy your beverage.
That's inner monologue. My apologies.
Yeah. Oh.
Compensating.
Compensating. Oh, well, they have a character in Diablo 3, which I never played until Reaper of Souls was coming out, and a bunch of people were saying that they normally play wizards, but they really liked the witch doctor. I normally play a wizard, so I was like, well, cool. When I started playing again, I made a witch doctor character. And if anybody had really told me, or I had done my research, the witch doctor has zombie dogs. Okay, I am all about the little dogs and corgis. So if somebody had told me, or I had ever noticed that the witch doctor had zombie dogs, I would have been a witch doctor. But unfortunately, I have a level 64 wizard right now, and I really need to get up to 70 so I can get my cool crap when I kill the Angel of Death. So
now you've really crossed into something terrifying. Is zombie corgis?
Yes,
probably one of the
I
most
know.
adorable dogs out there. And then you sort of turn it right on its head. They're very low to the ground. So
They can get
you wouldn't imagine. That's like the saddest way to turn is getting nipped in the ankle by a corgi.
Yep. You'll never see them coming, and then you're dead.
Mm-hmm. And
Yep.
then you're undead.
Yep. That's why I call them a corgi horde. I got lots of them.
Accurate. Very accurate. I like it.
Yep. So Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, I like both of them, and with the new changes they've made to Diablo 3, with the advent of Reaper of Souls, Diablo 3 is an entirely new game. So any of you out there, if you were disappointed by the gameplay in Diablo 3, they've completely revamped it. So even if you don't get Reaper of Souls, go back and give the game another try. It's it's still the same dungeon crawl that it's always been, but it's a lot more fun to play nowadays. You get a lot better stuff that drops from your kills. You get a lot better XP. They've revamped a lot of the damage, a lot of the spells and powers do. And unlike in Diablo 2, Matt, Diablo 3 doesn't let you spec your points out. When you level, it automatically gives you points based on your character class. So you now no longer have to worry about how much dexterity you're going to give your character or anything like that. Your only control anymore is by the gear that you wear.
I kind of like that granular control, though. I don't know how I feel about that.
I thought that I wouldn't like it, but they give you so much crap to look at that goes, this adds to intelligence. You now get so much loot to wear that it's a real challenge trying to figure out what you best need to get your specs up to where you want them to. So, it takes away that whole remorse of, oh gosh, I put too many points into strength early on. I should have been building up my dexterity. So.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't miss it. I thought I would have, and I can't think of another game that does it that way. At least a newer game that does it that way. So it was a difference, but I can't say that I've really missed it. So
I don't know that it'd be that easy for me. Did you ever do any tabletop gaming, any RPGs, any D&D or anything like that?
No.
See, I did, and you've got. I mean, it's all your call for paper and pencil. So having that granular control is something that I'm very used to. I don't know how I'd feel about going to that. It's like for me going from Photoshop to Photoshop Elements. I've learned Photoshop. I know what the shortcuts are. I know where the menus are where I need to go. Elements, it tries to be user friendly, and it's like I don't know how to do anything in this program. But I give it a try.
That makes me feel bad because I have Elements and I don't know how to do anything in that program.
So, Matt, if you were going to guess my alignment, tabletop DD, Dungeons and Dragons, you want to throw out a guess?
Chaotic Evil.
There you go. Of course.
Chaotic Evil. No hesitation. No hesitation at all.
Piece of cake. and my usual moves: we kill it. We try and kill it. We kill it. You see a small puppy in the street. We kill it. We kill it out.
How did you even get aligned to a party? I mean.
They found me charming. So I was a known commodity. They knew what was going to happen, and they're like,
"We're also kind of afraid he's going to kill us."
That's right. So
just let him in.
On our side, he'll be rolling against somebody else. But
right.
Yeah.
Chaotic Evil Thief was my primary go-to.
Really?
I was a chaotic good warrior.
All right.
Okay, and on that D&D note, we're going to go ahead and move into our social media recommendations. We should have actually had Matt read social media recommendations as another little bump.
Hold on, mute your mics. We can do that. Hold on.
All right, hang on a sec here.
Social media recommendations.
Excellent. Thanks.
It's easy as that. No problem.
There you go. So I'll go ahead and start that off. Mine's going to be a Twitter recommendation, and I was shocked to learn, Matt, that actually you were not, prior to the beginning of this broadcast, on the enemy of the states list that I maintain in Twitter. I could not imagine. I did not have you on the enemy of the state. That seems incomprehensible to me. I don't know. It must have been a Twitter database error that you were there and you fell off. But I have since corrected. You are now on enemies of the state.
I was going to say that's a huge oversight on your part, sir.
Totally unacceptable.
Because I know I was there. I know I was there.
And deservedly so.
Absolutely.
As everyone deserves to be on the Mel, a little trivia for you. Mel is the only person to be intentionally, on enemies of the state list, removed from it, and then having to be placed back on it. And that occurred within, her hiatus was 5 minutes, by the way, or less than 5 minutes, that she was off enemies of the state.
I wasn't aware there was any official escape velocity from that list.
Well, Mel's, it was...
He felt bad. I have corgis. Occasionally I'm nice, and, he thought it was safe.
Mel's a very nice person, and at some point I was like, how can you possibly have Mel on an enemies of the state list? I'm sure whatever she did initially, she deserved to be placed on it, but I can't recall what that would have been, but I'm sure it was bad.
It was always about Alice.
Yeah, but she dissed Alice Cooper, and I think that's what put her on initially, and she got off, and then she turned around and dissed him again. And just unacceptable.
You can't do that. That's
I'm
like
so sorry.
Poking the man in the eye.
That's just, she knew what she was getting into with that. So that backstory was that actually my Twitter recommendation for the day is the charter member of the enemies of the state list, the very first person I ever declared an enemy of the state, Sam Bridger. Is actually the first person that there in Sam's Twitter. One of my favorite Twitter handles of all time, Ratface. Is his Twitter handle. So I recommend, even though he's an enemy of the state, I recommend following Sam. He's a funny guy. He's clever. He's a good contributor to things Harbor Day, which we can talk about maybe some other time. But he's a good guy. He's funny. He's English. He comes from a foreign place, so you've got that, to work through. We have had some debates. His position is that the British actually threw the fight in the Revolutionary War, that they had said, that's going to be too much work. We're going to throw the fight, And
a redcoat would say that.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. We're 2-0 against him, and he just needs to live with it. But he's a clever guy. He's funny. He is an enemy of the state, but he's definitely a nice addition to your timeline. So I'm going to recommend charter member of Enemies of the State, Ratface, Sam Bridger. So that's my recommendation for this week.
That's a good rec. I follow Sam as well.
Cool. You can go ahead, Matt, if you want to offer yours up next.
Absolutely. My recommendation is also on Twitter, and that would be author and experience crafter J.C. Hutchins, JCHUTCHINS. JC is a real brilliant dude. He's an author. He has created some really awesome fiction, and I apologize if this sort of skews into a different kind of recommendation. But he's a neat guy, a really good addition to the Twitter feed, if only to get you connected to his stories, because his stories are great. He's got a new series. It's a serialized audiobook, and he also does the audio, the voiceover himself. You can get it in written form as well. But it's called The 33. And it's sort of this blend of sci-fi, futuristic, even supernatural elements, and I'm addicted to it. And I can't wait for the 4th episode to come out because it's crazy good. He's done transmedia, and if you're not familiar with transmedia, it's sort of as I understand it, experience crafting, taking the narrative of a particular movie or TV show beyond the screen and into the real world. He's done stuff for Discovery. I think it was Discovery had a show called The Colony, sort of a post-apocalyptic thing. And let's see, what else did he do? Almost Human, Fox's new show, which I desperately hope they continue because I really, really dig that show. He did some outside experience crafting for that show as well. But a very cool guy. He's a real guy too. There's not a real. I mean, he's not filtered. He is who he is, living real out there. So I recommend J.C. Hutchins. Really, really, really talented writer.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Almost Human too, and they better bring it back. That's all I can say.
I know. I'm with you.
We got Helix back, so we can't get greedy.
You know, I think that they were just stringing us along until that last episode, though.
I wouldn't be surprised given the...
Yeah, I think they were just stringing us along because that show was pulling good numbers, and they were hyping the hell out of it. I don't think they would have done that if its numbers weren't good. So I think Sci-Fi was just playing one over on us. But that's okay. I'll get more Helix, so I'm okay with that. So my recommendation this week is going to also be from Twitter. It is Phil, I think it's Plait, Plait. His handle is @badastronomer. Like it says, he's an astronomer. He blogs about all things science. He's got a good sense of humor. If you follow the Celebra Geeks on Twitter, like Will Wheaton and Bonnie Burton and all of those, he's friends with all of them, and he's very active on Twitter. He doesn't just do stuff about astronomy. He does all sorts of things, whether it's nature. He's big into photography these days, and he posts some very pretty pictures that he's taken himself. But he is a big advocate for science outreach to not just kids, but everyone. He has done a lot of work with NASA about reaching out to the public and getting science more out there in the public view to inspire young people to get into the science fields and maybe stop staring at their computers quite so much and get out and experience science in the real world and hopefully build us some astronauts that might want to go into space if we ever get a space program. But that's another recommendation for another day.
Okay.
So follow @badastronomer on Twitter. He's full of all sorts of science goodness, and he's funny too, and I like him.
Excellent.
I just clicked follow.
Well, good. He's a good guy.
Although I have heard of him. I've seen, because I follow Will Wheaton and a couple of other of in that circle, and I've seen some retweets around Bad Astronomer, so there's familiarity there.
Well, good. He's a good guy. I like his tweets, and he's never mean, which is hard to sometimes find in people that run in those circles. So I've never seen him be mean to anyone. So he's a good guy. Follow him.
Sounds like a guy that would never end up on the enemies of the state list. So I followed him as well. So
I'm sure he could manage. I don't think it's very hard.
It is.
I bet if I got my dog a Twitter account, he would end up on the enemy of the states list.
Only if he deserved it. Only if he
probably deserve it.
I'm sure I could come up with a reason. Well, this has been cool. I think we got everything covered. What I just to remind our folks listening, we love to get recommendations from you through the various social media channels as well. And we'd now that we have a nice spiffy mailbag bump we can use, we need more because we've got to use it. So please send in your suggestions there. So I'll go ahead and say it. I think Mel will probably cut it out. We'll just use Matt's fine work, but just in case, lots of ways you can get a hold of us. You can go to our website, which is nurtureandsupport.net. Comment on our posts there. We'll have links to everything we've talked about here, from the recommendations on Twitter to Matt's website to the recommendations we've talked about. Comments are great there. You can find us on iTunes, search on Nurture and Support. We'll be sitting there below the knitting podcasts in the hobby category. Please like us.
That go.
What's that?
He just can't let that go, folks. You really need to help us out there.
Knitting, huh?
Knitting. We're getting our ass kicked by knitters.
I knit.
I'm just asking a question, lady. I'm just asking a question.
Yeah.
No, we are in the hobby category, and the knitting. Who knew knitting podcasts were so popular in the hobby category?
News to me.
They are. They're
But good for all you knitters out there.
popular. So I've never listened to a knitting podcast, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I knit, so there we go.
So you can find us on iTunes. If you do there, write a review sometime if you get an opportunity. We'd really appreciate. That's probably the most effective way to help us overtake the evil knitters. It's to get a few more reviews and those types of things up there. You can tweet us at NertandSup on Twitter. You can email us at nertandsup@gmail.com. We check that inbox not hourly, but
occasionally.
Occasionally. We get to it. So we'll be looking. So if you haven't heard from us right away, you might want to write us at Twitter to go look. But we will look, and we'll so send in those recommendations. Really, thanks for listening. If you're doing so, I think that covers all the links, right, Mel?
Yep, I think that covers everything. You can hit us up on our Twitter accounts, obviously, if you've got anything nice to say to us. And we thank Matt for coming and joining us. I mean, Kelly got some free work out of him. So, this is what nurture and support is all about, getting free stuff.
That's right.
Yay, but who are we nurturing and supporting here?
Well,
Us.
You guys? Okay. Hey, I'm all about truth in advertising. As long as I got that straight, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's not nurture and support by Mel and Kelly. It's nurture and support Mel and Kelly. So it's a subtlety, but it's there.
It's
Right.
the neediest podcast south of the knitters.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. That's good.
That's
Yeah,
good. It
so-
sounded great. We're not going to use that though.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, we will be back next week with more recommendations. So remember to check every Friday. That's when new episodes go up. And we will talk to you then.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Nurture and Support. Be sure to join Mel and Kelly next Friday for a shiny new episode.
Nurturing and supporting TripIt.